Success leaves clues, and modeling success will expedite your journey to the promised land. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. Last time we got together, we were focused on some philosophies given to us by one of the greatest leaders in history, certainly one of the top in the family photo in the American history, President Abraham Lincoln. So let's go back and let's start by reviewing, or not reviewing, but let's go over some new philosophies and let's model success so that we can achieve more out of our lives. And I'm getting this from an article by a gentleman named Spencer Sakulin, whom I'm shamelessly plagiarizing his article because it is so good. I recommend that you read it. I'm going to give you bits and pieces of it, and it's just a tremendously good article. So let's get going. First, no matter what you do, do it well. And the quote from Abraham Lincoln is, "Whatever you are, be a good one," unquote. You know, one of the things in life that you need to recognize is that the way you do the little things is the way you do everything. And as a leader, as someone that's organizing businesses, one of the things that you always look for are the people that pay attention to the detail and put full effort into what it is, because you make the judgment that if they're willing to do that for something small, that when it comes time to do something big, they'll give that same effort. And by the same token, if you see that someone's not putting in a full effort to something small, then you say to yourself, do I really want to entrust that person with a much larger responsibility? Now, as Jim Rohn once said, and Jim Rohn was the mentor for Anthony Robbins, for Tony Robbins, I'm sure you've heard of him. Wherever you are, pour it on. Don't settle for less. Don't settle for mediocrity. Even if you're a street sweeper, become the Michelangelo of street sweeping. In all things, bear that attitude, that in all things you strive to do your best, to excel, and to leave things better than you found them. No matter what your path in life, you'll have that choice. So give your best and be an inspiring example to other people. All right, our next point. Understand others before you judge them. Here's the quote from Lincoln. "I don't like that man. I must get to know him better," unquote. You know, most people form a first impression and that becomes their final assessment. They jump to a conclusion and judge freely, and you know what? Frankly, that's how prejudices evolve. But we would be better off to leave more space between our initial encounter and our judgment of others. Few people look past the first impression and seek to truly understand someone before they choose how they feel about them. Be one of those people that does that. Understand first rather than seeking to be understood. You'll be surprised how many people you were tempted to skim over who are actually hidden gems that are worthy of your friendship. You know, nobody is either all good or all evil. So take a little extra time and figure out what makes somebody tick and figure out why they think the way that they think. Being good beats being great if, and here's the quote from Lincoln, "I would rather be a little nobody than to be an evil somebody," unquote. You know, no matter what, you can never escape yourself. The good, the evil, must either relish or suffer in their own company. You know, all foolishness suffers the burden of dissatisfaction with itself. Likewise with evil. So make yourself into a person that you can not only just tolerate, but somebody that you like. You know why? Because you're going to be sharing that body with that person your entire lifetime. Being good beats being great if you would sacrifice goodness for greatness. Though, like Lincoln showed, it's possible to be both. All of us can be good people and lead great lives, but never let success come at the expense of your own self-respect and sense of rightness. Sometimes things are clearly right or clearly wrong. What people are doing, and I'm especially seeing this in today's times, is they're letting their loyalty to their particular tribe, be that be an occupation, or in the example that's sort of hitting me in the face, their political party, is they're blindly pledging their allegiance to something, to a principle that they know is not right, yet they're not stepping up. Don't give up your identity with, be willing to give up your identity with a particular tribe if you can't respect what the outcome will be. Does that make sense? Be ready to step away from the crowd, and don't always follow the tribe blindly, because they're not always right. The next one, and we've gone over this many times, happiness is a decision. Excuse me. Here's the quote from Lincoln. Most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. Unquote. Most people, when they wake up at the beginning of the day, they let the outside circumstances dictate what their attitude is going to be. Common sense tells you that you should be in the control of the way your attitude should be. But what do most people do? They go to social media, they read about this, they read about that. They have envy for somebody that's achieved probably something that's been embellished. The point is, you need to take control of your life right from the get-go. That's why it's so critical to give yourself that quiet thinking time where you're identifying and visualizing the goals that you want to achieve. You're singling out your burning desires. You're seeing the day progress the way you want it to progress. And you see yourself achieving those particular goals. And once you do see yourself achieving those goals, and you, quote, brainwash yourself, and you see the success, you can't help but when you get out of your thinking time period that you're in a positive mood. So you go to the mirror and you're saying, like, yes, I've accomplished this. It's your affirmations that you're going to accomplish a worthy objective. See yourself doing it. Put yourself in the right space. Happiness is a choice. You got to give yourself permission to be happy, and you got to make up your mind to be, and make sure that you are the one that is in control of that, not outside circumstances. Does that make sense? Our next one is take responsibility every single day. Quote from Lincoln: "You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today." Unquote. Those who take responsibility today are going to be the success stories of tomorrow. Take responsibility. Don't put off what matters. Don't let things slide. Today is the day that matters, the only time you're ever going to have. So don't turn tomorrow into a trash bin of your potential by perpetually kicking the can down the street continually. Does that make sense? Take some action today, no matter, because you can't escape responsibility no matter how hard you try to put it off. Think about that one. Liars are seldom winners forever. Here's the quote from Mr. Lincoln: "No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar." Unquote. Whoever you are, whatever you do, Tell the truth. Be honest. Live a life. Be transparent. That is authentic to others and authentic for yourself. You can't put on airs. You can't lie to others, and you can't lie to yourself about who you truly are. There's being humble and there's being arrogant, and you want to find that sort of comfortable mid-range where you're comfortable with your skills, but you're not arrogant about them. So having confidence, having self-esteem is a critical element to being a success, to being popular, to being well-liked. But by the same token, you don't want to be overconfident. You want to be humble. And you want to remember that when good things happen to you, to make sure that you give credit to the people around you. And when bad things happen, you want to make sure that that's the time that you accept the blame. So have that kind of a persona where you have a quiet confidence and not an arrogance. My mentor, one of my mentors, Bob Anderson, used to say, he's cocky without a cause. Don't be cocky without a cause. Have a cause, develop the skills, and have confidence and self-esteem, and develop the identity of the person that you want to become. So, we've given you in these last two sessions 11 different philosophies of Abraham Lincoln. And I want to make sure that I give a shout out to Spencer Sakulin for his outstanding article on Abraham Lincoln, because philosophies remain the same. Sometimes because of technology, the methods change, but the philosophy remains the same. And these timeless bits of knowledge that Mr. Lincoln is passing down to us are going to remain forever and ever. And because we're never going to end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.